What's up, everybody? I am still here in Denmark. I'm with my friend Daniel. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I am Daniel, and I've been friends with Jonathan on Facebook and Instagram. We've been talking back and forth for, what, a couple years now? Yeah, and we just decided to link up and, get some footage and answer a couple questions. So if you're down for it, man, let's dive into it.
Let's do it. How old are you, by the way?
22.
And what are you going to school for?
I am studying pharmacology, and it's basically just a lot of knowledge about medicinal science, anatomy, physiology, all that jazz. So yeah.
What do you think motivated you to go down that path?
Well, I've always been into staying healthy and taking care of your body. I think that, having a well-functioning and healthy body is like the #1 factor in having a happy, healthy life.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I choose that route.
Yeah, well, I can definitely agree with you there. His father was a bodybuilder back in his heyday, so I'm sure that played a huge role as well in his lifestyle choice. But anyways, what this video is about is really just detailing the top 10 things that I feel that as far as like changes within myself that I've noticed over the last 40 or so days since I've switched over to this lifestyle. I get questions all the time, and not only in my YouTube comments, but Instagram, Facebook, and so forth. So I really want to just put them all down, and that's what we did. We created a list of top 10 of the most consistently asked questions, and we're going to present them to you guys right this very moment. So Daniel's going to read them to me, and then I'm going to go ahead and answer. So let's start with number 1.
All right, so the first question is energy levels. How do you feel energy-wise, and what are the major changes in energy levels throughout the day for you?
All right, so for myself personally, what I noticed almost immediately whenever I started doing this was like I would just be quick to wake up in the morning, because typically I was a slow person. I was never a morning person whatsoever. I mean, I was that guy that would literally hit snooze like 5 times before I decided to finally wake up. But it's like now it's just different, and like I can really point it out because this morning when I was at my friend Anne's house over here in Cullen, she was halfway asleep and just kind of struggling to get around and get moving, and she was just like, Jonathan, like, why are you so awake and so active? And she kind of pointed out, well, is it because you're vegan? And I'm like, you know what? Probably so. I've noticed that was a huge change that I've had within myself over the last 40 or so days. So I guess that answers that one. We can move on to the next one.
So on the other end of the spectrum is sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep and sleep quality, duration, rest overall. How's that improved, or has it improved?
It's definitely improved. Just like I mentioned, being able to wake up in the mornings, having the ability to get into a deep sleep a lot quicker and more efficiently, I feel has like increased tenfold. The great thing is that I can actually get tired in the evenings so that my body can wind down. I feel like not only has the diet played a role, but just every aspect of the lifestyle changed completely. That was really one of the main things that I noticed almost immediately as well, is just being able to sleep better. Because as a bodybuilder, man, like it's just one of those things that I've always struggled with. I had some serious insomnia at certain points during preps and just in general, and that has completely gone away, completely. So what we got next? Gym performance?
Yeah, and especially nutrition around like peri-workout and meal timing. How do you feel that's changed, or has it changed for the better? And what do you do specifically for pre-workout, post-workout, intra-workout, whatever? Okay.
So when it comes to gym performance, I will have to mention that I have gotten off of AAS, or performance enhancing drugs. So that is going to change regardless of my nutrition and the lifestyle change that I've created for myself. But what I have noticed is if my meal timing is off, if I eat, let's say if I wait too long to go train, then I don't necessarily have the same endurance that I would if I were to like eat within a 30 to 45 minute time frame. Another thing that I have noticed is that like if I don't have some carbs with me in between, so typically what I'll do is actually bring like raisins. I actually just made a post with my previous video before this one that I was eating in between my workouts because I noticed that, you know, I guess you could say my blood sugar would dip during the training sessions or I don't want to call it performance, but I can definitely feel that the pump would kind of come down. So I did start adding that, and that made the biggest difference as far as like intra-workout. But that is huge. Meal timing is very important. I feel like that actually becomes more prevalent when you switch over to this diet lifestyle, because I'm not just doing vegan. I've really pushed it to, again, like you've seen in my previous videos, the whole raw vegan experience, to where my macronutrient breakdown is 80% carbs, 10% fats, 10% protein.
Yeah, but I will say, like, even though that we had like a 2-hour workout and
Yeah.
we switched it up and did a bunch of heavy movements, some really intense squeezing, contracting, like a lot of movements that will get a lot of blood moving and require like endurance.
Yeah.
You kept up pretty well. You didn't like slow down at any point.
Yeah, I mean, he's been training with me like, what, 2 or 3 times already?
Yeah,
So-
last 3 days.
Yeah, so he's been able to kind of see me perform hands-on and in person. So
You did cardio too. Yeah.
and some cardio on top of that. And even my overall energy, even though like let's say like I can feel the energy dip during my training, but like man, I just feel everything is more consistent throughout the day. I don't really have any highs and lows. So one big huge question that I've been getting a lot is, you know, with my diet containing so much sugar, like am I feeling any problems with my energy? And like I just mentioned now, the answer is no. Matter of fact, I actually feel like my blood sugar is actually more stable because I do consume a lot of fruit, which whenever I've tracked those days, I've reached anywhere between 500 to 600 grams of sugar in a day. And I don't feel any different whatsoever. Matter of fact, like I mentioned, I feel actually better. I feel like everything's just moving along better. There are no highs and lows. And I don't get those dips. The only time that I would say is that if I were to like, with immediately post workout, when I consume raisins, because that's usually my immediate source is raisins. I like them intra and post. I do get hungrier quicker, which all that means to me is that my body is processing food a lot faster and allowing all that nutrients to get directly into the muscles post workout. What do we have next?
Yeah, so that was kind of the fourth thing, the blood sugar thing.
Yeah.
So we've been through 4 things now, but you kind of touched on it like before.
Okay.
The next question is digestion.
Oh, digestion.
Yeah, because people always
Man.
say like, some people will end up saying, oh, sugar is hard to digest. And on the other end of the spectrum, you got people saying that sugar will help the other food digest. And how do you feel? What's been different?
Since I've been doing this predominantly fruit-based diet, actually my digestion has improved dramatically. Sleep, energy, and digestion were the 3 things that I noticed almost immediately. Because I'm not gonna lie, all right? I've had serious issues with digestion in the past. And what I mean by serious issues, like literally I would take a shit and I would be shitting blood, which is fucking disgusting and is not normal.
Like borderline medical issue?
Yeah, matter of fact, I've gone to the doctor multiple times in the past and asked, like, hey, like, why is there blood in my stool? You know, and the answer was the food that I was consuming. Because literally, like I said, as soon as this changed, as soon as I decided to make this lifestyle change, I no longer see blood in my stool. I no longer deal with constipation. I no longer deal with hemorrhoids, because I used to get hemorrhoids all the time because of the constipation, because of, again, the food choices that we make. When you're eating a high meat diet, which is the predominantly, this basically what a bodybuilder eats is going to be lots of meat, like I mean pounds and pounds of meat.
No veggies.
No veggies.
Minimal veggies.
You know, and then you're consuming
No
stuff
fiber.
like, there's
high
very
inflammatory foods.
high inflammatory foods.
Yeah.
It destroys your digestion, your digestion tract, your intestinal tracts.
And it's hard on the kidneys too, you know, because it's high inflammatory foods,
Yep.
and the kidneys filter your blood, the water, and you know everything just goes through there.
Yes, just like he said. And like one thing that I noticed is that whenever I would consume like a meat-based meal, I would feel full. Obviously, I would feel full longer, which, you know, this is the thing, is that science teaches us things that I feel like are actually backwards now that I'm really diving into this. So the whole, I guess, idea of consuming fruits is because if you think about it, it's what we're truly meant to consume more often than not. And when we eat meats, it'll sit there in your digestive tract, especially red meat. It'll sit inside of you for up to 72 hours. What is that doing? Is creating toxins. Your body is now, it's like, you can see, like, for example, if you pass gas, how smelly it might be. The reason for that is because there's shit just sitting there and it's not moving. And so all it's gonna do is create, what's the word that I'm looking for?
It's basically just going, the simple way to put it would, like, from a medical perspective, would be just, it sits there and it rots.
It rots.
Like,
exactly.
That's why you get, like, foul smelling stools, like gas that smells terrible, you get bloated.
Yes.
You just feel like basically, to say it how it is, like, shit is stuck there and it just sits there.
Yeah.
And it pulls water and it'll mess your digestion up, it'll give you constipation, it'll give you headaches, everything. There's terrible stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has completely stopped. 100%. I'm not gonna lie. My shit, it doesn't stink. Like, no joke. And I try to pay attention to stuff. I mean, these are things that, you know, people like try to kind of run away from and beat around the bush, but I'm gonna give it to you straight. You do this, I guarantee you, go take a shit now, eat fruit, eat 80-10-10 for a week straight, and let me know how your shit smells in a week from now.
Trust me, I've had this guy in my apartment for the past week, and I haven't had to clean that motherfucker out yet.
Hey, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, pretty much.
Another thing is, like, body odor.
Yeah, that's the next thing. The next thing is actually breath, smells, and body odor.
Yes. I noticed that my breath doesn't ever really smell anywhere near as bad. And because when you think about it, again, when you're consuming meat, a lot of times you get a lot of food stuck in your teeth, and then you're eating certain things that are essentially just sticking around and decaying within your mouth, which is going to cause everything to essentially have a foul smell. Yeah. And most people don't eat very well. Just, they don't pay attention. You know, you're going to consume a lot, especially these people that are stuck on this if it fits your macros, which are doing it completely wrong. Because all they want to do is like, oh, you know what?
Eat Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, a calorie is a calorie, a carb is a carb, and a fat, like, no, dude, that's not true.
Donuts are as good as brown rice.
It's garbage. And when you do these things, you allow yourself to almost, like, believe that there is no difference in food quality, which is completely untrue. So anyways, that has played a huge role in this. And of course, what were we talking about? What was the next one?
There was breath and body odor.
Oh, body odor, yes. Like, I actually stopped wearing deodorant. Like, I don't wear it at all. I've been working out with this guy, and normally you would always hear from anyone that's trained with me, like, damn, Jonathan, like, you fucking stink. And I know that I stink. And matter of fact, I try to stay away from people after I train because I know that I would smell horrible. But it's like, now I can go train, and especially since I've been here in Denmark, you know, there are times where I'd work out and I wouldn't be able to shower until the evening. And literally, I'd have no issues whatsoever. You know, I can kind of give myself a little fucking bird bath and wipe myself down with a towel, and I'd be good to go. Which, on a normal basis, I would feel horrible with myself. Like, I would not even want to be around myself. It would be that bad. And that's another huge thing that I feel that has changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Dramatically.
And I noticed, like, we were doing cardio, and he was on level 3, I was on level 8, and we pretty much sweat the same amount. Like, we were drenched. It was so hot in there. Like, the gym was so humid. And I thought, man, this guy, I'm going to have this guy in my car. Holy crap. And there was nothing.
Yeah.
Like, really. And I have a phobia of smelling bad myself and just being around smelly people.
Yeah.
And there were no issues whatsoever. And, you know, I would have told you if you stunk like that.
Absolutely.
Skunk, man.
And I mean, and this is huge because, you know, you can tell because in the past, I know that the stench has been real. And it's completely different, you know, and especially me now, I've been around a lot of females, and hey, listen, I've gotten zero complaints about any of this. So I know for a fact, I'm telling you guys, this is the reason why we're making this video, because it's just, these are important things that I feel like no one really pays attention to about themselves that they really need to start thinking about. What's the next one?
The next one is taste buds. How is your taste buds and your overall experiences with food taste changed?
Man, so since I've been doing this, obviously it's raw. I'm eating things in their raw state, so I feel like my taste buds have really gotten accustomed to consuming things like just the natural source of food. Oats, for example, I no longer add any sweetener into it because before I would like 2-3 packs of Splenda just to kind of mask it. Walden Farms, all this garbage, just artificial nonsense. I've switched it up. As a matter of fact, I've actually cut out all artificial sweeteners. The only one that I would use is over here in Denmark. It's called sucrin, but it's erythritol, and they add I believe a little bit of molasses in there. But that's a natural that's a natural sweetener that has almost little to no calories in it. I believe for every 100 grams there's only 8 calories total.
Yeah.
But that's the only one that I've used. Other than that, I don't put anything else. Coffee, I just drink as it is. Just because again, I want to allow myself to just taste everything in its natural state. And you actually begin to enjoy it a lot more. But you have to dive into this. I don't crave salt. I don't crave sugar because I'm consuming what the body needs all day long. So these things like trying to get sweets and all this stuff or salty snacks or all that completely goes away. So that was one thing, just cravings. Is that one of the things that we talked about?
That was actually one of the things, yeah.
Yeah, cravings, man, completely non-existent. So people ask me, do I do refeeds or anything like that? Why do I need to do refeeds if I'm eating 700 grams of carbs a day or a cheat meal? The only time that I actually allowed myself to overconsume was whenever I went to a birthday party, a Vietnamese birthday party, and I just had a little bit of like rice noodles, rice. I ate a fuck ton of carrots and pineapples, mangoes, beans. We had beans. Some sort of salad. It was like with sprouts and stuff in it, but that was it. And I ate a huge plate. And the thing that I did notice was by eating the rice noodles and the rice and the potatoes and those heavy starches, it actually sat on me over the next few days, and I felt it within myself. So it made me realize, like, okay, I cannot eat like this all the time because you want everything to move and pass through on a more efficient rate. And you notice that those types of foods actually stop that from happening. So what's next?
The next one is probably one of the biggest ones, and that's been weight gain and weight loss.
Okay.
Have you gained weight from this, or are you afraid to gain weight? And in terms of mass, like muscle mass?
Man, this is huge. All right. So like I mentioned earlier, I did stop taking performance enhancing drugs. I completely cut it out. Just because I didn't want any excuse for like how this was going to affect me as a whole, because whenever I do get back, I do plan on getting some blood work done so I can show like the insides and see what's going on there as well, because I know people are going to be curious for that.
And as a medical professional, I am looking forward to that. Like you would not believe. Like it's so interesting, like hearing his perspective and his experience with it. But I'm looking forward to comparing older blood work sheets where you'd think like, I'm a bodybuilder, I eat a healthy, balanced diet, I do my blood work, I do my cardio, and compare it to, like a whole raw vegan diet, like the real thing.
Yeah.
See what it comes out to. I'm excited.
Because my last set of blood work that I got done, I actually did it right after the North Americans, and it was horrendous.
Oh my god.
My liver enzymes were
they look like a fucking
astronomical.
Yeah.
Man, kidneys, like creatinine levels were through the roof. I mean,
they look like you won the lottery and you won like this big number.
Yeah, pretty much. I basically had to shut shit down immediately after that. That's just how bad it was. And it's not like I was doing anything excessively. I mean, it just shows that the shit that we do to ourselves is not healthy. It's just plain and simple. The next one and the last one, I believe, is protein intake.
Yeah, that's kind of correlated to weight gain and or weight loss.
We didn't talk about weight gain. Yeah, so we actually didn't dive into that just yet. So, since I cut those things out, that aspect, I haven't really noticed that much of a drop. I walk around. See, here in Denmark, you walk everywhere, okay? And I mean everywhere, which is not normal for me. So when I would be at home, normally I would actually do cardio every single day, but here I've done almost little to no cardio. 20 minutes with him going level 3 on the stairs, just chilling and talking.
Priest walk.
Yeah, was the most that I've done. But the rest is just me getting around town. I started at 118 kilos. Right now, which is roughly 259 pounds, 260 pounds. Right now, I weighed this morning at 114 and a half, which I calculated to pounds is 252 pounds. So a 6-pound difference in the last 40 days. And, you know, I try to make sure I don't, you know, I've only calculated my macros like maybe 5 days out of the 40. And then out of those 5 days, you know, my calorie intake was between 35 to 4,000 calories. The most I calculated was 5,000 calorie day. And my weight has not really fluctuated at all. It's remained rather stable. My body fat levels haven't really changed much. I've gotten a little leaner in certain areas.
We took some pictures today. I don't know if you want to throw them up.
Yeah.
And if people are wondering if you're getting fat or even flat from this diet,
Go check out my Instagram.
check out those pictures, man.
Yeah.
They were from today, like almost straight out of bed. You had like a shake, pre-workout shake. That was it. We wanted to hit it. We hadn't even warmed up yet. And you looked like you were ready to rock the stage, man.
I know, right? It looks like I'm 8 weeks out, which,
Yeah.
you know, and with a good 8 weeks out. There's actually cross striations in my quads.
You can see the glutes.
Yeah, the glute, the tie-in where the ham and glutes is showing real well. My calves are actually pretty veiny, which normally, you know, when I'm taking shit, dude, like I'm constantly holding water in my lower half and my calves, which, and I would never see them. So that's like another good thing. One other aspect that I wanted to add to this was like my range of motion has increased dramatically. I'm able to actually dive into like more my yoga poses, because that was another reason why I actually stopped doing yoga, was because I just felt so bloated and so round that I couldn't even get into basic poses that I would do in Ashtanga. But now it's like it's coming effortlessly, which actually makes me want to go into and dive into it even more and get better at it and allow myself to become more limber, more flexible over time, which I know for a fact will happen as I continue to do so. And then the last but not least, protein intake.
That's probably the one that you get asked the most. Like,
yes.
Vegans, how do they get protein? What protein do they get? Is the amino acid profile as good as like meats and protein shakes and whatever? Let's dive into it.
He just mentioned amino acid profiles. All right. People always mention like consuming plant-based protein of any source is not as efficient as consuming meat and dairy and eggs.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, meat, dairy, and eggs, where are they getting their protein from? From the plants. So it's actually, to me, you're going directly to the source, which is going to be the highest quality source of amino acids known to man, is going to be from your plant-based sources. So majority of vegans will consume things like Tofurky, I believe is a brand, which is a high in protein, and they'll use a lot of soy-based products to get their protein. What's that white stuff called? Tofu.
Tofu, yeah.
Tofu. Tofu is predominant in a lot of their diets. But for me, you guys heard me earlier, I'm doing 80-10-10. 80% carbs, 10% protein, 10% fats. The most protein that I've gotten in a day since I went vegan was 100 grams, and that was the first day, just because I still had protein in my mind. But since then, I try to keep less than 10% of protein in my diet. The most I've consumed is roughly 60 to 65 grams per day. That is it. I don't go for direct sources. The only direct source that I have is one shake of Garden of Life raw meal. And the reason why I have this is because it makes up for all the other nutritional deficiencies that would essentially be in my diet without, of course, you know, meat, which would be like iron, your B vitamins and stuff like that. Yeah, selenium.
D, yeah.
That protein has all of it in that one shake. So I do that at least once a day. I try to make sure I get that in. But that's the only reason. It has nothing to do with the protein itself. It's just the other vitamins and nutrients that I'm trying to get in from that source.
And if you go back to earlier videos from when he started this whole vegan thing, you'll see him like doing that shake.
Yeah.
For that same purpose.
Every video, same shake.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not lying about it. And that's literally the only source of protein. Again, he's been around me. He's seen me eat every day. You know, people, they actually they're almost baffled by it because like I'm serious about this. And I've been 100% on it. I haven't strayed away one bit. I haven't touched a piece of chicken.
No.
You know, with people and try to offer me chicken when we were at this halal place. I told her no.
Seen her in the other video?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see him like go, oh, you're gonna cave. Just wait, you're gonna crave it.
Yeah.
Like, and I've eaten like steak, eggs, chicken, tuna around this guy. It doesn't bother him. He's like, oh, that smells pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, it smells amazing.
He'll have a couple dates.
Yeah, I still like it, but at the same time, you know what? I have a goal to accomplish here, you know, and I want to show you guys, especially the people that watch my videos all the time, you know, just what's the true benefits from this. You know, because I guess you could say the reason why I dove into this the most is because it was like an aha moment. It made me realize, like, I feel like we've been lied to when it comes to this consuming high protein diet. And when in reality, when you really think about it, it's actually not very good for you in the long term. Like he had mentioned before, just the aspects of it, like with kidney and liver problems that you eventually come into. And again, I've shown the proof so far. You know, 30 days with this, roughly 41 days with no meat at all, no direct sources from meats. And here I am, you know, and I'm going to continue to post these videos. I'm going to continue to show you guys the progress so that a year from now, when you see my physique is still phenomenal, I'm still considered a high-level bodybuilder, and I will continue to do it naturally, and do it with this in this manner. What is anyone going to say? You know.
So the last thing that I want to touch on is pretty much how my experience as a meat eater and like a regular like blue-collar bodybuilder or whatever has been with him around for like almost a week.
Yeah.
I've been eating like regular bodybuilding meals, like with chicken, tuna, steak, eggs, dairy products, whatever, around him, and he's not been like, oh bro, that's disgusting, or how can you eat like that, and don't you know how harmful it is, and all this typical, stereotypical stuff that, you know, people will hate vegans for saying. And it's not been like that at all, and I've just been enjoying my food, and he's been enjoying his food. And whether you're coming, like, watching it from a ethics and moral perspective or a nutritional aspect, you just gotta have an open mind, man.
100%.
You can have fun with it, but just don't be miserable. Like, you can do whatever, but...
Yeah, I mean, because the whole point is never to push anything. I'm not going to preach anything to anybody. I just like to speak and talk about the information that, you know, I've come across and the reasons why I decided to make that change. And, you know, a lot of the people that do make the change are for, like, ethical reasons because of the animals and so forth. That wasn't my reason at all. It was strictly nutritional. And then it eventually dives into the animal aspect because, again, if we only need 10% of our diet to come from protein, so, you know, we're looking at anywhere between roughly 40 to 80 grams at most for any individual that's even, you know, competing in bodybuilding and doing so forth. Now you think about, do I really need to eat meat? You know, do I really need a direct source of protein of that nature? Do we really need to kill animals to get our protein now? Because the answer is no. You know, so like, again, the whole purpose for me was never the whole ethical aspect of it, but it does eventually play a role in a sense to where if it's not necessary, then why do we need to continue to do it? So that's pretty much it. But, you know, I've never I don't say anything to anybody about any of it. You know, it's just, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is why we mention the benefits of it so that we can show you guys other aspects of it rather than just pushing this whole animal saving agenda. Because, you know, it's huge. Don't get me wrong. I love animals. You know, I feel like I don't want to kill them. I'm not going to kill an animal to eat it. So, but that's not for me to push on anybody and to say it for anything. But final thoughts? Is that it?
Yeah, I just thought that it was cool to sit down and, you know, address a couple of things that, you know, get some myths, like, debunked and get some stereotypes out of the way. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So,
dude,
yeah.
It's a pleasure, brother.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to do this, man. This is dope.
Yeah.
So anyways, Hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you guys like these style videos for me to be able to just do sit down talks, especially with like my friend Daniel, I'd like to get back with him and actually ask him and pick his brain on certain things that he's knowledgeable on in the future. So we'll see that soon. But anyways, till next time, everybody. Peace.